Our second application for rational functions is the mean. Now, the mean is also called the arithmetic mean. It's what happens when you take your quantity, total quantity, and you divide it by the number of parts you're trying to divide it into. Now, it sounds really complicated, but you actually do this all the time in a math class because when you get back a test, you want to know what the mean is, the average. You find it by taking the number of points everybody got and then dividing by how many students there were, and then you have the average score for the class, right? Okay, so we have a Charity Poker Inc. It organizes poker tournaments that raise money for charitable organizations. A typical tournament for up to 100 players costs $600 to put together. Find a model for the per player cost for a charity poker tournament if P players participate. All right, so M of P, that's going to be our quantity divided by our N. Well, our total quantity here is 600 because they said it was $600 for up to 100 players, and we're going to divide that by the number of players that we have. And this would be the dollars per person, right? Average amount to pay to play in the tournament. All right, so now let's find the cost per person for each player if 75 players participate. Well, we have $600. We're going to divide it by 75. And let's see, 600 divided by 75 makes 8. So that means if there are 75 players, then each one will have to pay $8 per person to play. And there we go. There's our cost per person. Now, what is a reasonable domain and range for this model? Interesting. Okay. So domain is all the possible number of players you could have. Now, the smallest you could have would be 1, right? So you have 1 player show up for this tournament. If you don't have anybody show up, it's not really a tournament, right? And then all the way up to 100 because they said that the cost was for up to 100 players. So that's that. That would be your domain. Now your range is your cost per person, right? Your mean cost per person. So let's think about this in reverse. If 1 player shows up, right, then it'd be 600 over 1. And then if 100 players show up, that's the most you could ever have, be 600 over 100. Okay, well, this is actually reversed, right? Because what happens here, 600 over 100 is 600. But in fact, I'm going to put this over here. All right, so this is 600. And then the other one is 6, because if you take 600 divided by 100, you get 6. But you're not allowed to put interval notation in the incorrect order like this. So you have to go in reverse. So actually, let me put these in reverse here. Right? So the least amount you could have to pay is when the most amount of people show up. So that's your lower number. And then the most you could have to pay is if 1 person shows up, then they're stuck paying all $600. Sucks to be them, right? If I were them, I'd just walk right back out because otherwise they're stuck paying the whole amount, right? So if everybody shows up, everybody pays $6. If 1 person shows up, they pay all 600. Follow? And we have to put this in order from lowest to highest. All right, so there's the domain and the range. Now, how many people must participate in order for the cost per player to be $12.50? Okay, so I'm going to take my M of P, which is my cost per player, mean cost per player, and I want it to be equal to $12.50. But remember that the cost per player was 600 over P. So I'm going to set that equal to $12.50. Okay, well then how do we solve this? You want to get P out of the denominator. Oops, you want to put it in the next line. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply both sides by P. Do it to the left, so you have to do it to the right to keep things copacetic. All right, and then we divide away here because P divided by P makes 1. That's why you did it. So over on the left, you're going to have 600 equals 12.50 P. Now you want to divide both sides by 1250. And again, if you do it to the right-hand side, you have to do it to the left-hand side. That's the way equations work. And then we're going to divide this away. So this is going to go. If it goes over there, here. And so I need my calculator to find what 600 over 1250 is. me grab this. 600 divided by 12.50 will be 48 players. So P, I'm going to reverse the order here. P is equal to 48 players. And we're done. And then I'm going to stop this video right here, and then I'm going to pick up on the next video with the distance equals rate times time functions. So I'll see you then.